Welcome to Made in Montgomery. I'm your host, Mirchaye Sahlu. We start in Rockville with a company revolutionizing sensor technology and transforming our daily lives. Based in Rockville, N5 Sensors is a dynamic technology company specializing in the design, development, and manufacturing of cutting-edge sensor solutions.
So at N5, we use advanced sensors and AI to produce information and disseminate the information to keep people safe from dangers like wildfire, other types of chemical threats, poor air quality.
Air we breathe must remain safe.
So our mission is to make these technologies and the information that comes out from these sensors readily and easily available for anyone.
Mirchaye was fascinated with physics since he was a child and always wondered how he can use it to help people and do his part to change the world one day.
Developed this concept of miniaturizing sensors to make them lower, size, weight, and power, but also make them way more efficient. These are N5, chemical sensors capable of detecting a whole bunch of chemical threats. And this is the core technology that powers all our products and solutions.
Mirchaye gave us a tour of the facility where the life-changing sensor products are engineered to help businesses and industries in making informed decisions.
For example, fire detection, right? So we have a product that essentially is a suite of sensors. So this is our fire detection product. This is a sensor, we call it a chem node. So it is mounted on utility pole or a traffic light pole. So it has got a host of sensors in it, and it collects a bunch of environmental data every second and then combines the data and sends it to our cloud. And in our cloud can actually detect a signature of fire at the very moment it starts. And when this network and AI detects the signature of fire, it can send a text or email notification to the registered phone number, let's say the fire department in the county, with that information, the GPS location and the time the fire has started. And also it collects environmental data. So for example, when we had poor air quality, you could actually track how the air quality is moving through the area, and when it reaches dangerous levels for vulnerable population, asthmatic or other kinds of diseases, that information could be really valuable and can save you sort of like that visit to the ER because you have that information
and you stay indoors.
You stayed indoors, right?
Yeah. So that's how we get our alerts then.
Yeah, well, that's one of the ways, right?
N5 Sensors also places a strong emphasis on environmental sustainability, incorporating eco-friendly practices and materials into their sensor technologies, contributing to a greener future.
Very mindful of our production methods, and we make these systems very energy efficient. So when you install them, a network which is protecting, let's say, a community of millions and millions of people, it runs on solar power. This is one of the versions of the wearable sensor.
Okay.
Essentially, this allows for a soldier to know what's in the environment, chemical threat-wise, and it kind of continuously monitors the environment and alarms and sends the information when it picks up a threat signature, chemical threat. So U.S. military is looking for a solution that's small, lightweight, and can detect a whole bunch of chemical threats.
At a time where data collection has become a concern, at N5 Sensors, data collection safety takes precedence with security measures and protocols in place.
We generate a lot of data, but also consume a lot of data,
guaranteeing the protection and privacy of sensitive information.
We constantly engage with industry experts to keep our back-end infrastructure data secure and safe. It's been really rewarding being in this county. The biggest advantage is being able to attract the top talents You have all these, really good universities around this area get to retain the brain power that allowed the company to evolve. For myself personally, it's a very diverse, community, very unique sort of culture. It's very rewarding.
In the meantime, N5 sensors will continue to give us the ability to learn about our environment and understand its impact on our health and well-being. This next business weaves a tale of a remarkable bond between a mother and daughter. It all started after Annie Park
It's already mixed, so you can just garnish it.
received a call from her mother, Sarah, about a business idea.
The Sarah's Handmade ice cream wasn't one of those things that I thought, hey, this is something I'm going to pursue. It just came about because my mom always made ice cream. And she decided, hey, there's an ice cream shop in the neighborhood going out of business. I'm gonna buy it. And she called me and said, hey, I need you to help me get started.
After immigrating from South Korea with her daughter, Sarah worked several jobs. She always taught her daughter the value of hard work and determination from a young age.
I think her attitude and her outlook, even whatever position she's ever had in her life, has been, I'm going to make sure I'm the best possible. I'm going to learn everything there is to learn here. And that's passed on to me because she always encouraged me to go out there and try something new that now have culminated into running Sarah's Handmade Ice Cream.
Sarah's Handmade Ice Cream first opened its doors in March of 2019 on River Road in Bethesda.
Anything for you, sir?
The second location opened in October of 2020
Bailey's Irish Chip. It is really good.
in the Wildwood neighborhood.
So why is it called handmade ice cream?
Homemade, it means you make it at home. But handmade, we make everything here. Really translates that that sense of I'm putting my own hands into making this recipe. So, for example, all of the baked goods that go into our ice cream, we bake here on a day-to-day basis. Really is handmade. For example, my mom's a huge believer in buying big bars of Belgian chocolate bars and having us hand cut them because she's like, that's how you get different texture. You get the really thin pieces, you get the thicker pieces, sometimes you get the giant pieces. And that level of effort and quality, I think, can only be translated by saying handmade. Every single recipe, every single flavor definitely has that careful, thoughtful planning that she's put into all of her flavors. I think the goal was, let's have something for everyone in the family. And people have dietary restrictions, people have different palates. We have ice cream for dogs here. We have a lot of sorbets and vegan flavors. All the seasonal flavors are always going to be a treat. Is a little bit more than your typical ice cream parlor. And then with flavors, of course, we wanted to do something fun where we're naming our flavors after the community. For example, we have Chevy Chase Chippy Chip, we have Rocky Rockville Road, we have Bethesda Brownie Brickle. My mom was always interested in coming up with her own flavors, brainstorming. So as I was growing up, she'd be like, oh, like that could be a good ice cream flavor. And all of that has now translated into what we are able to offer.
Deeply rooted in their local community, Sarah and Annie not only provide delightful treats,
So I grew up in this area. I went to school right across the street, Walter Johnson High School.
but also actively support the well-being and growth of the community they cherish.
It's a full circle for me. So whenever people come to us and say, hey, we want to have a fundraiser, or hey, we're having this event, can you support us? It's always been a yes. We've never turned down any nonprofits or schools asking for a partnership. These letters are from WJ, Walter Johnson High School Best Buddies, and we support them through fundraisers multiple times a year, and they always write us thank you letters, and we really always thought this was we cherish it, it's precious. We take this big picture entrepreneurship, but we're able to apply our passions and our values and our interests at a local level, which has been the most fascinating part of Sarah's Handmade.
Recognizing the power of reading and literacy and sharing it with their customers fostered a deeper connection, sparking meaningful conversations and enriching the overall experience of their ice cream shop.
So everything that you see at the shop here has a little pieces of what's important to us. And we try to have a lot of books that gear towards diversity issues, and just feature books that maybe growing up I didn't have exposure to. So we're really trying to diversify the things that kids see here.
Sarah's Handmade Ice Cream is working to open a third location in the near future, with plans to expand even more. For hours of operation at any of their locations, visit their website. And finally, unlock the past and celebrate the timeless allure of bygone eras in a unique antique shop in Kensington. Nestled in the heart of Kensington, Mob Vintage exudes an irresistible allure, drawing wanderers into a nostalgic realm.
Some original 1960s Barbies.
Where stories of the past come to life.
This one, that Barbie thing there is filled with about 30 outfits, shoes, purses.
To the curated treasures awaiting discovery.
That's an original G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Mike O'Brien's fascination for the world of antique started when he was a child. A passion he shared with his grandmother.
My grandmother is what got me into antiques. When I was young, I used to go out antiquing with her at yard sales and thrift stores. And then my grandmother passed away, and I started trying to kind of rebuy memories I had of her through items. And it just kind of expanded and blew up into, now I have 3 shops here in Antique Row.
Mob Vintage has something for everyone.
I love vintage cameras, and 90% of these are all in working condition. Some of the Polaroids, it's almost impossible to get film for these older land camera Polaroids.
Since it opened its doors in 2018, it's grown to 3 shops, all on Antique Row, and with each shop offering something different.
One of my signs will say I have a little bit of everything. You name it, I got it. So some of the timeless antique toys that we have here.
Yeah.
Some of the older toy cars.
You don't see this anymore.
It's all about
so.
brand. You know, Hubley is a big brand. So I have this shop here, which I call the fun shop. This is the shop that has toys, collectibles, watches, small items, kind of a lot of nostalgia in this room. I have a room at the back of this hallway here that has furniture, barware, artwork, beer signs, that kind of man cave-ish kind of a thing. And then the next building over, I have one other shop that's mid-century modern, which is furniture, ceramics, artwork, that kind of stuff.
Mike spent decades refining his skills as a picker.
Yeah.
And all the Star Wars figures are up there.
And always aims to have a unique assortment of curated antiques and vintage items.
I have kind of an eclectic taste, so I don't particularly go for any one type of item. So I kind of like to see what feels cool or different or odd to me, and hope that that will translate to somebody else feeling the same way. I will go to people's houses, basements, attics, garages, wherever I need to go to find what I want to find. The research is the fun part of it. I enjoy finding something, not knowing. I'm not one of those guys who likes to Google it before you get it. I usually buy it with my gut and then try to research later.
And if you are wondering what the acronym MOB stands for,
MOB Vintage, it has multiple meanings. MOB is one of my initials. Michael O'Brien is my name. The tagline for the shop is Making Old Beautiful. Here we go. It's also my grandmother's name, who we discussed earlier, got me into this. Her initials, her name is Mirchaye O'Brien, so MOB is also for her. And it's also minority-owned business. So I kind of say it's the acronym that keeps on giving.
keeps on giving indeed. And that wraps up this edition of Made in Montgomery. For County Cable, I'm Mirchaye Sahlu. Thanks for watching.